What's good, family? So mash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. Wow! So, you've all probably seen by now Devin, no power having Haney, versus JoJo Diaz. Now, what can I say about this fight? I can't lie to you. I didn't watch it live because I don't watch no random bum fights live unless. Entire lie, I don't watch bum fights live, full stop. In fact, last week, when Teofimo was fighting Cambosos, I missed it. I ended up having to scramble and try and find a replay because I refused to support any bum fight, yeah? Now, fair play to Cambosos, he's not a bum. But the point is, people, I don't support bum fights. Anyway, 2-2s. I waited until DAZN released the free highlights. 2-2s. I'm watching the highlights, and no word of a lie. If you watch the highlights, it looks like JoJo Diaz won the fight, or at least it was a draw. You wonder who is DAZN's main fighter. Devin, no power having Haney, is supposed to be their guy. Yeah, their guy got did wrongly by DAZN. But listen, I guess DAZN would argue, listen, the highlights are the highlights, yeah? If you're a no power having ass, listen, if you are a no power having ass, and you're going 50-50 with bums, and all the highlight shots come from the opponent, that's on you, Mr. No power having Haney. Yeah? That is on you. Now, getting to the particulars of the fight. This was, in my opinion, winnable by JoJo Diaz. Where JoJo went wrong, he had the high guard. He had the beautiful high guard I always talk about. Yeah, and that's why people like Devin, no power having Haney, he hasn't got armor piercing power, which means that when you got the high guard up, and by the way, most fighters don't have armor piercing power. It's rare to have. My point is, when you've got that high guard, most people can't do nothing with it. And especially Mr. No Power having Haney. 100%. But where JoJo Diaz went wrong, I mean, watch fights like David Avanesian versus Josh Kelly. A similar kind of fight, really. Difference is Avanesian had the spite in his shots. The difference is JoJo Diaz, he had the high guard, he was walking forward, but he was kind of just standing there. He wasn't busy enough, and he didn't have the snap in his shots. And I guess I do have to give some credit to Mr. No Power having Haney, because at least he was clearly doing enough to have JoJo Diaz scared of letting his hands go, if that makes sense. Because it's all well and good me saying, well, Devin, no power having Haney, hasn't got any power, but listen, he must have had some power, because JoJo Diaz wasn't just walking forward and throwing shots. It was quite a weird fight, to be honest. Normally, when people are scared, they don't walk forward, but JoJo Diaz was walking forward and then not throwing. It was odd. Very odd. It was almost as if he's been paid off, to be honest with you. He was paid, yeah, because it don't make sense to me. If someone's shutting you down, i.e. they're active, because normally when I see fighters just shelling up with a high guard and not throwing punches, normally it's because they're being overwhelmed and they can't take the power. So they're just kind of, for example, watch Alvarez versus Callum Smith or Alvarez versus Caleb Plant. They shell up, yeah? They go into defense mode and they just turn into heavy bags. But JoJo Diaz, he had the height, he wasn't throwing much, but he was still walking forward, which is almost like a contradiction. It's almost like he'd been paid. Yeah, JoJo, just go in there and go through the motions. Because the thing is, when he did let his hands go, he had success. Go back and watch the highlight reel. There's a reason, yeah, all the main highlight shots came from JoJo Diaz. If he had done more of that, maybe 2 or 3 times more than he was doing, I hate to think what his punch stats were, he weren't throwing no punches. If he had, that fight's winnable. And before, I can't lie to you, when everyone's been talking about when everyone's been talking about Cambosos versus Haney, I automatically fell into the trap of writing off Cambosos, doing that whole standard, oh, it's the big name Haney gonna go in there and just outbox him kind of thing. The same way we all did with Kambosos versus Tuikafimo Lopez. Everyone just wrote him off at 13-1. Having seen this fight, yeah, bottom line, having seen this fight between JoJo Diaz, who weren't really doing much, the odds for Kambosos have gone up exponentially. A man who wants to go in there and really commit and believe he can win. And in my opinion, in that division, if there's anyone who believes they can win against all odds, it's your man's Kambosos. Kambosos potentially has what JoJo Diaz didn't, and that's that oomph and that drive and that belief and that will to win. Which, to be honest with you, in 2021, very few fighters have that underlying will to win. Now, I'm not saying Haney doesn't, but listen, Haney, there's a reason people are saying Haney, no power having Haney. Yeah, Devin, no power having Haney. He ain't got no power. Yeah, and if JoJo Diaz, who weren't even really trying to win, can keep walking forward, what do you think Kambosos is going to do? Now, I'm not saying Kambosos is the most powerful, but guess what? Kambosos put your man Tuikafimo Lopez straight down in the first round. Oops. Yeah? And there's been some questions about Haney chin. There's definitely been some questions about Haney power. So, what can I say? That fight to me is going to come down to, can Kambosos work on his snap in his punches? If Kambosos can work on digging his shots, digging his knuckles in, this could be a long night's work for your man, no power having Haney. And the worst thing is, what do we know about no power having Haney? No power having Haney is teamed up with a guy who emphasises having no power, Ben Davidson. Ben Davidson can take aggressive fighters and turn them into fannies. Look at Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor was known as a hard dude. Yeah, totally ferocious, slipping, sliding on the inside, whipping big counter shots. Now, he dancy around. Now, he's scary looking. So, unfortunately for Haney, Haney going in the wrong direction. Haney should be teaming up with Abel Sanchez, for example, or Alvarez's team. That's what Haney should be doing. He needs to add more pop to his shots, not be more running backwards. Yeah? Haney, another one who stays sucking off Floyd Mayweather. Floyd, no power having Mayweather. Yeah? I mean, look at Anthony Yarde tonight. Anthony Yarde finally snapped out of the whole Mayweather thing. Mayweather's a shtick. Yeah, Mayweather had no power. Mayweather had no aggression. And I give Mayweather credit because even though he had no power, even though he had no aggression, he did what he's supposed to do. And that is find a way to market himself despite those principles. So Mayweather convinced everyone that, oh, you don't need power. It's about the IQ. It's about fanning around. It's about the O. That's why he reconditioned people's minds. Yeah, for the whole sport of boxing. Boxing's been based on power and knockouts. Floyd came along, and because dopey ass looking ass fans and haters tuned in and bought Floyd Mayweather's narrative. And that, listen, I'm not knocking Floyd. Floyd did what he had to do. Yeah, Floyd had lemons and made lemonade. But unfortunately, because these boxers are low IQ, and they don't think, wait there a minute, rather than following the leader, i.e. following Floyd, why don't I make my own lane? Yeah, focus on what I'm good at. Focus on going back to the old school. Instead of doing that, they think, oh look, Floyd Mayweather made 100 million, let me follow him. So now you had people like Anthony Yarde, Devin Haney trying to be all touchy, and it don't work out for them. They get beat, they go 50-50, they get named no power having Haney, etc, etc. It takes someone like Kambosos to come in and just mix it all up. I mean, look at Tuikafimo Lopez, he's another one. Yeah, to be fair, he tried to, listen, Tuikafimo, he tried, to be fair. He did try for the KO, but he ain't got no power. He another one, yeah? T, no power having Hemo, yeah? T, no power having Hemo. That's his name, 100% no doubt, yeah? Tuikafimo Lopez, no power. He tried though, but at least Tuikafimo Lopez knows now he ain't got no power. And he knows now to go in there and he listen, Tuikafimo, he best hire Floyd Mayweather Sr. to teach him how to dance around. I mean, he needs to hire Floyd Mayweather Sr. and Ben Davidson, because you best believe Tuikafimo has got no power, even when he's twice as big. Yeah, Tuikafimo Lopez went in there twice as big as Kambosos and still ended up on his ass and still couldn't get no stoppage. So, yeah, you're right, Tuikafimo. Yeah, you're 100%, you're a Floyd Mayweather reincarnation. Not even a little piece of power have you got, no doubt. But anyway, looking forward, Haney got past his test, barely a test. Listen, he barely got past it, yeah? He got clipped all night, no doubt. But, let's see the Kambosos fight. No doubt, 100% confirmed. I mean, you know what? Before I finish, let me talk about Haney's performance here. Haney did what he had to do. Haney did what he always does. It's all touch, 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 touch. There's no snap on his shots, and it's funny because the post-fight interview actually trolled him, yeah? I'm going to do a video on this, but the post-fight interview actually trolled Haney. Yeah, he said, listen, Haney, did this fight prove that you got power? Wow! Trolled the life out of dude. Yeah? It's bad right now for Haney, man. It's bad. But listen, Haney, if you want some power, you know what to do. Yeah? Your man, the YB's Twitter is in DMs. I'm a power specialist. 100%. I can train people for power. I know the secrets. You best believe that as well. If you want power, I mean, put it this way. Give it a week. If I'm lying, no win, no fee. If the YB can't train you to have power, no win, no fee. Yeah? 100%. I'll pay my own flights. I'll fly over there. And if I haven't shown you how to have power within a week, I'll go back home. No win, no fee again. Who doing this? Who offering these things for free? No risk. Oops. Who doing that? No one. Exactly. But you, man, instead of taking no win, no fee, instead of taking no power, no fee, you fly out these goofy, funny asses, Ben Davison, who we know is scary. But that shows more about your mentality. You got a Don telling you he can give you power for nothing, no risk. And you got another dude telling you you can run around for some more. Yeah? You're funny style. That's why you stay funny style. That's why you stay being called Devin, no power having Haney. If you want some power, you know what to do. Link in the description. No doubt.